real fresh. Keeping it fresh.
It's too fresh.
Ooh, it's red.
Yeah.
That's a really good one.
Gosh, but
those leaves kind of look like an herb, like parsley or something.
I wonder if they can be used that way. I certainly don't know. I think it was this type of flower, though, that I told you to look up the blue variant of it, and it was the most ethereal, beautiful blue I've ever seen.
I remember. Hi, guys. This is Lena.
I'm Michelle.
And I'm a 3D artist.
And I'm her emotional support sister. Except,
Strike that, reverse it.
Yeah. Dang, I wanted to say Mom's catchphrase. What was it? Joke. No, what is it?
Trick.
Trick, guys.
Got you.
You really thought. Okay, so I had a special thing to say. Welcome to the first week of August, and poppy is one of August's birth month flowers.
Yay.
And not next week, or maybe it is going to be next week, you'll get gladiolus. That's the other birth month flower for August.
Now let's see if she did her homework.
Yes, I did.
What does poppy mean?
Poppy's flower meaning, or it just represents sleep, death.
Sleep.
Peace and rebirth. Yeah, I think we knew the sleep one.
Yep.
Gosh, you didn't read it, Shell, but Mom and I read the Cadfael book, and poppy syrup played a major role in the mystery, because this dude had it to, like, calm himself, but he used it to, you know what, I'm not going to spoil it. You just got to read the book, guys. Read the first book of the Brother Cadfael. Or just Google what happens.
Or just tell them right now.
This guy who we think was innocent the whole time, he actually drugged one of his other brothers within the worship place to fall asleep so that he could go off and commit the atrocity that the book is about. Yeah, don't read it.
No.
It took too long.
I didn't read it.
It was only 200 pages, and it felt like 400.
Was it really only 200?
Only 200, because I remember I was splitting it up. The first week, I just had 100 pages to read, so I was like, I'll do it 3 days, 33 pages a day, no problem. And I did not like that process.
Rough.
Yeah, poppies were kind of weird. I had a hard time getting this one started because they have a slight variation in how many petals there are. So there could be like 4 petals or 5 or 6. And I was just like, I want one straight answer. Just give it to me. Yes. Finally, I saw a reference that I liked that was only 4 petals, and I stuck with that.
It struck me as poppy right away, so you did well.
It was weird making this poppy because I had mentioned that when I was making the anemone flower, I felt like it would be a cousin of hellebore because they have a similar look to them, and I was struck with the same feeling when I was making poppy. I think they're all cousins. But they all have such different leaves. Look at the leaves, guys.
Yeah.
That's where you can tell their ancestry.
For some reason, I was remembering, I don't know if it was a school or if it was like a camp, but I remember someone teaching me about different petals and different leaves and like the number of petals meaning something in nature. I don't remember what it means, but I just remember someone pointing them out to me.
Yeah. Like how hexagons are naturally occurring. Anything like that.
I don't remember.
I want to know about your class.
Might have just been like an offhand, someone said it, one tiny thing, and now it's stuck in my head as a partial fact.
I hate that.
Of nothingness.
I hate those things that your brain, like, that you've kind of forced yourself to remember for years. Because I remember one time, like, I was sitting on the bus in 6th grade, looking up at the emergency exit latch, thinking about something I needed to remember for the next day. And I don't remember what I needed to remember the next day, but I do remember so forcefully thinking, like, I'll remember that emergency latch, and I'll remember the thing I need to remember. So, like, I still think about that emergency latch. Mm-hmm. What was 6th grade, 2006? So it's been almost 20 years.
Man, I forgot your age was fun like that.
It is very fun. I'm lucky.
You were 6 in 6th grade.
No. Yeah, I mean, you can kind of use that as a guide. Be like, all right, 9th grade. Elena would have been in the 6th grade, so it was 2006. I mean, that's how I always remember everyone's age of ours.
Gosh,
like,
I will use that. I laughed at first because that's silly.
Is it actually helpful?
I think so.
Yes.
I don't know when I think about things like that, but next time I do, that's an easy way.
Yeah, easy way. Eric way.
Easy breezy beautiful.
Elena girl. So you were playing chess with the kids.
Oh.
You had some anecdotes about that?
It was just so frustrating. In the cutest and sweetest way, because they were both so into playing chess. They were playing each other, and Burm gave them the knowledge of how the pieces moved. But you don't want to just play it for them. So you're like, okay, well, you have these pieces. This one can move this way, and this one can move that way, and there's their king and stuff. And it was just like, oh my gosh, they would just go right up next to the king with no one protecting their piece. Yep. And then it's like, okay, well, Avery, here are your choices. You're in check now with that one that's attacking. So you could, here's some options. What do you want to, I'll take the piece. It's like, yeah, that's a good choice. Now Felicity. I don't know, it was so hard to play when they were making choices. And then it got down to, oh, wow, they were able, both of them, to get pawns across the board twice to get queens back.
Oh, no.
And I was like, guys, you got the strongest piece in the game now. You have a queen and a king. What are we going to do? And I was like, okay, I think it was Avery had the queen, but he kept moving his king. The king was going to go here. It's like, Avery, you're not moving your queen at all. And it got just... we ended in a stalemate because they both just put their queens right next to the kings with no one protecting them, and then they only had a pawn each, and they were both right next to each other, so no one could move, and then they just had kings. I'm like, that's it, guys, it's bedtime. Stalemate, you both tie. But it was just so hard, because, like, you don't want to make either one of them win over the other when neither of them are playing very strategically.
Yeah.
So, without helping them too much, it was just really frustrating.
Gosh, but they were left with all positive
They had
feelings.
such a good time. They did. And, I can't do that again.
No. But, I mean, first thing this morning, that's all they wanted to do with me. They asked me to pull out the chessboard.
They're so fun.
Okay. Yeah, like, a handful of it was the chess game and then the pick up sticks game. It was like, there are some times when I don't want to do it. But in these cases, it's like saying, oh, I'm not going to play this, I'll just watch you guys. That's not exactly effective because you are actively playing, you're just not having a role in it. Like, you're... because the way they're doing pick up sticks, I don't know if this is every game. I don't know if I just never played pick up sticks. But it was like, they're picking them up and they have to not jostle any of the other ones. But they're unreliable narrators.
It's true.
So you have to watch it and make sure that they're playing fair if you want either of them to have a good time. Or, I mean, Felicity won't have a good time either way, but to make sure Avery at least gets something out of it.
Yeah. It's just new things right now. Fixated on the new games.
But it's all good. Like, I was playing... There was this other one that you guys got recently. I don't even know when. It just suddenly appeared. But it was O-Trio, which is kind of like tic-tac-toe, but with just a little extra element to it. Anyway, but it was like, I know you heard that I was winning a bunch of times, but it was like, Avery was really focused, and he was aware of, like, what was going on, and it's like...
You had a really good strategy. You didn't really say much at all to him, but your winning was probably helping him see how to win. Because it was another thing where it was just like... I don't want to let you win. I don't want to make you lose all the time or let you win. So it's hard to coach, and it's a lot of different ways to set up the board, and it's hard to see what other people are doing, hard to see what you're doing. Yeah. So it is kind of frustrating playing that one with him because it's just a lot to take in.
Yeah, but he has such a good attitude.
He does. He is my keep trying boy. No matter how many things. Like, just even when he was a little kid, like, stack up a thing, they fall down, no big deal, we'll just try again. It's like, he has a no-quit attitude, and I love that.
Totes.
But yeah, O-Trio, it's not a new one, it was just something we've had, and it's so big, the box is so big, so it doesn't fit anywhere else, and I pulled it out when I grabbed the food processor, because the kids saw it. So it's another new fun one. I had a random note that, it kind of like, popped into my head early morning for no reason. I wanted to know what you thought about grapes. Like, when you see people eating grapes in, like, ancient Greece, were grapes different before? Because I'm over here pulling grapes off the stem just to eat a couple at a time, and it will always leave a tiny bit of a stem. Were people just eating stems and they didn't care? Or were they just, like, biting them off and it was leaving some of it on? Or did they just come off a lot easier in ancient times?
Gosh.
What's your answer?
I mean, I would think too, like, sometimes you see a painting of someone biting into an apple, and it's like, I can't imagine biting into an apple without some, like, juice dribbling down, like, onto my hand and stuff. So maybe it's just, like, with any painting, they want to draw the most idealistic version of what it is to enjoy that thing. So maybe it's like, no, grapes were always finicky to eat, but some people just want to ignore that. Because I'm thinking, too, about, I don't know what to call this, but it's like the folks who eat a big amount of food on camera or take big bites on camera, like the professional eatin' folks. They, like, I saw one girl who got a whole branch of grapes and she stuffed them in her mouth and then she pulled them out. It was like, wow, it's like all empty. She got all the grapes. I was so curious about that one, and so I tried it. And, like, I think it was in the house where it's like you were downstairs. You could probably hear me in the kitchen, like, like coughing. Because it's, like, not a good, like, so many stems up in my mouth. It did not work. So I think it's never going to be perfect eating a food. It's never going to work. I might have kind of a segue. Speaking of foods, but also speaking of different word pronunciations of things, I think it's Berm and Ryan in our lives who want to say caramel, and I think the rest of us, we just tend to say caramel. And it's not like, it doesn't matter, but it's like, whenever it's brought up naturally or not really naturally, because they insist on bringing it up every once in a while, they're really trying to prove a point with it. Anyway, I was talking to Eric a while ago, and he was saying, like, oh yeah, there's that kind of controversy, but I have something that's probably going to make both sides angry. He was saying that he uses both pronunciations, but for different contexts. So if it says, like, add caramel to a recipe, that's caramel. That's, like, a big amount of caramel, no big deal. But if he's at, like, a fancy candy shop, he's going to grab a caramel. Like, that is a high-end word to use for a high-end product.
What about caramel apple? Was that a caramel apple?
I think it's caramel apple. Okay. I think that's what he... I believe that's what he said. Eric, correct me if I'm wrong. But he also had... he said, like, tomatoes that you eat and just enjoy, that's a tomato. But when you're in the garden, that's a tomato.
And weren't you on the fence? Like, was he joking or serious?
I don't know. I think he probably is serious. If you're joking, Eric, and this is just a long con, don't tell me, because I like this idea of you.
That's good.
But yeah, it was... I wish I had a third example. I feel like he did in the moment, but I could only remember the two. But I had a third that I'm reminded of. The thing with different pronunciations is that it doesn't matter. Like, I don't think I deliberately bring up this topic, except for right now. I tend not to bring it up because I don't want to debate over it. It's just, we can pronounce it, and as long as we know what we're talking about, then we're communicating, and it's fine. But I know the word GIF or GIF. That is a subject of high contention among some people, and I was always glad that I never surrounded myself with people who would try to debate with me over that. Like, it doesn't matter. Say it whichever way you want. Like, I know how I feel about it. It is just part of the word gift, so I know how I would pronounce it, but I can understand the other side of it as well, of, like, I think the rationale was like, oh, the creator intended for it to be pronounced as GIF, or whatever. Like, sometimes you just look at a word and it just seems right to you. So it's like, one of my friends in college started to strike up a debate with me about this. It's like, how did I get into this situation? Like, I have never wanted to talk about this with anybody. Why are you talking to me about this? And it, what is the quote? It's in Keeping Up with the Kardashians. It's like, Kim loses a pair of her earrings in the ocean or whatever, and she's freaking out about it. And one of her sisters is like, Kim, there are people dying in the world. Anyway, so that's how I feel about anyone trying to debate with me over how certain words are pronounced. Just like, there are more important things going on. We don't need to talk about this and get angry about it. Maybe eventually. I have this note up in our, like, voiceover topics thing of, like, coming up with common word mispronunciations, and that's something I really want to get into eventually. Because, well, I don't know if they would even show up on a good list, because it was only recently that I realized I was saying chaperone wrong, that I was misspelling it in my head. I always thought it was chaperone, like with the F sound, that it was spelled with a PH in the middle of there. So it's like common word mispronunciations. I don't even know if that would include chaperone, like I was just having. I don't know. We need to look it up and then just...
Or wouldn't it be fun if you were the only one?
I don't know. I don't know if I'd feel better with or without that. But I like the times when... Because when we're doing the captions, I feel like that's when I realize that we're saying something in a way that is unexpected. Where you had one that was like, I said bouquet, and you were surprised by that because you would say it bouquet, and you had looked it up and you found that both pronunciations are correct. So I liked that. It's like, neither has to be wrong, and it's all gravy.
It seems like the more I hear people saying it, more people say bouquet than bouquet. So I'm like, I think I'm just wrong.
I don't know. I would never call you wrong to your face. Gosh, I was having a weird one where I had to, because of doing the captions, I think this was back in the month I'm about to say, I had to just double check that February is an acceptable pronunciation of that month. Because I was like, I know you can say February, but I have always just said February. I'm imagining how it's spelled, and that's how I like to think of it.
Mm-hmm.
But then I just had to double check, like, is that even, or are you not supposed to do it? Like Wednesday. You wouldn't say Wednesday.
Mm-hmm. You wouldn't.
I'm not brave enough.
Gosh, February. I can't do that. I don't do it that way. But I feel like it has the same rules as, like, library. You need to say that, library. You can't say library just because you want to. Yeah. So why do you say February just because you want to?
I don't know.
Americans.
Yeah, I remember, maybe I'm super exact about February because I was so betrayed when I learned that it's called Valentine's Day with an N rather than Valentine's. I was Montana
I think every
age.
kid went through that, though.
It's hard. I hope no one has to go through that ever again. My wish.
It makes more sense.
Yeah. It's the time to have Valens.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Yeah, I was just listening to a Bim Bam where they were saying, one person wrote in just saying, like, how can I learn how to say abominable more confidently? Because I want to say it a lot, or I don't know, it's just a silly question. So they were having a big thing of, like, they had to say abominable a bunch of times, and they, like, for saying it so many times, they kept stumbling over it. It's like, yeah, it is kind of hard to get it right every single time. Abominable. Say it.
I'm scared. Abominable, 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 abominable.
That's
good. That's really good.
That's nice. It's not even a tongue twister. Like toy boat.
Irish wristwatch.
We need to, maybe that should be another episode. We should just only do tongue twisters.
What are you doing here?
Oh, I'm selecting
the
edgemost ones.
Okay.
I just want to get them just a scooch narrower.
Oh. Yeah, the more I'm looking at it, the more I'm thinking like thistle.
They
look like thistles?
I don't know.
Are they pokey?
I don't think so. These leaves were nice to do.
Oh, that one's not connected.
No, I had to bend it down, but it was hard to select the things and make them not be influencing the other ones around. It was a whole thing. So that was the best way I could do it, is just to rip it off.
Nice. You want to talk about your 3D venture?
I can, yeah. See, I had said that I was thinking of making an unboxing / like first printing kind of video, but I don't know how feasible that is because my number one concern during all this is just safety. And like, I have a gas mask, I have gloves, I have a good ventilation system. Like, I got all that in place before I started printing. And so then it kind of defeats the purpose to be like, oh, well, I need to get these angles. Here, let me call somebody else in to come film me while I do this stuff. It's like, because then they would need a gas mask, they would need some protection too. And it's just like, if I were to do it alone, it's really hard to get the angles I want with all this stuff going on. So I might have an unboxing or first print-ish video, but it might also just be combined into a different video of just like, it is the print. Here, you saw me model it, and now I'm just going to have it printed and don't need to care. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I'm still kind of figuring out things with how to print, and it really helps that the first things that I'm trying to print are like little pendants, and they don't require much muss and fuss. But then the next thing I'm going to model for it is going to be the piggy banks, which we mentioned in the previous video, and so we'll see how that goes.
I have a teensy Felicity anecdote. We were watching something, I think it was Spies in Disguise, and she knows how to read, and there was subtitles on the movie. And at one point we get to, like, we were kind of like in a chatty mood about the movie. It was towards the end, and at some point she is sitting there and she looks up and she's like, Felicity, I saw Felicity. And I was looking at Avery or looking out the window or something, and so I missed what it said. But then Berm looks over and he's like, facility.
Oh! Sweet, precious cherub.
Yes.
Yeah, I was, so I was reading a book from the Armand Gamache series by Louise Penny, and it just kept happening in the book where people were saying congratulations, but she included a lot of French in her book, and so it was written down in French, like félicitations, whatever, but it's like that word is spelled the same way as felicitations in English. It just has an accent mark over, so you need to pronounce it with some more oomph. But anyway, I was at the table and I was just having the translator thing speak it out, and it was just like, yeah, that's Felicity's name. And then I tried to translate other things that would be like, I don't know, I didn't think Avery would translate from anything, so I translated avarice, as we sometimes do call him, and so that translated into something similar to his name. Gosh, yeah, I had a thought about Spies in Disguise, because that was Will Smith, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so it's like, I heard his voice, but I couldn't recognize it right away. I thought it was a different actor. But then I heard the other voice for the boy, and it was like, I can't tell for sure, but I'm assuming this is Tom Holland. I looked it up and I was like, yeah. Because you found some movies he did, huh?
Yeah, we had just watched Onward with Tom Holland as well, and then it was, if you watched that and you liked it, watch this one, and we did, and it just happened to be cute.
Yeah.
But yeah, Will Smith, like, has he ever done a movie where they didn't play a song that he sings?
Oh, so he sings in this one too.
I mean, it wasn't a musical, but at one point he's like this spy guy, and he starts this like fighty scene, and in the background is him doing a song. It's like, is that necessary? Do you request that, or is that what the people request for you? You know?
He can act, he can sing, and he's funny. He's a triple threat.
Triple threat. I was gonna say, you're setting up for your own stuff.
I hate when I realize I've chomped somebody else's joke.
Aww.
Like, I thought I was so clever thinking of this thing, but then it was like, no, they thought of it already. I just sniped it.
Woo.
Chow,
Sorry.
chow.
She got zoomies. Sometimes she gets zoomies, and she'll run onto the bed and across my legs that are just... Yeah, it's rough because I want to sleep with my legs out sometimes, like get that cold breeze. Mm-hmm. But I can't because I'm scared of their zoomies at night. They're just going to run across and scratch up my legs.
Yikes.
Anyway, nobody asked.
Well, speaking of other things we asked about.
What an interesting creature.
Yeah, it's a weird one.
Oh, what is this?
Those are the stamen. It's like the little...
Oh, yeah, shooting out.
Yeah.
That's very anemone.
Right?
That's what I was looking at before, but I didn't want to interrupt you, but that's why you're saying it's like a cousin.
Yeah.
Very similar.
Yes,
I really like that middle. Does that have a name?
I'm pretty sure I couldn't figure out what the actual name for it was. Because every time, like, I look up so many pieces of reference, but then, it's like, those beautiful illustrations that are just, like, anatomical, like, illustrations of flowers and stuff. Like, there's so many available for so many different types of flowers, but there's some that are just really hard to come by, or some that aren't labeled. And so this was one of them where it's like, I want to have every mesh labeled, in its own particular way when I'm in Maya. But some of them, it was just like, I think it was just like poppy center. Like, I couldn't figure out what it was called.
Button.
Mm-hmm. The heart of the poppy.
Yes. Oh, sweet.
And there were a lot of, there were some other colors I could have done for the poppy. Like, one of the references I saw that I liked, it had some white with the red. It was a cool look, but I don't know. I feel like the red is more iconic. You'd know it by seeing it.
Yeah.
And getting those rumbles down. And I don't think I've done anything with these leaves yet. So yeah, can I add just a little bit of foggy texture to that?
Schmutz.
Yeah, that's a much better word for it. Gosh, so I think in a couple of days we're going to go to the theater to a matinee. We're going to see Inside Out 2. We'll try
and get some nachos.
Oh my gosh, Michelle.
I don't think I want it. I really need those nachos. We went to a movie the other day and they were out. Mm-hmm. So now it's like that same night I tried to get nacho fries with some nacho cheese from Taco Bell. That didn't really satiate my hanker. And then last night Berm got me a pretzel and cheese sauce from Sonic, but that cheese sauce is so salty. It's like the pretzel's already salty, so I wasn't feeling that. It's like I'm going to have to keep trying all this nacho stuff when all I really wanted was just my nachos from the theater. Yeah. Overpriced, but what I needed. It's what I needed.
Kim, there are people dying.
It's like, day ruined. I didn't get my nachos, and
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't want to go in and have a bunch of stuff, and the kids are going to want stuff too, so we shouldn't.
Gosh, maybe, like, I'll start walking them to the car, you order it to go.
I don't know.
And then it'd just be food that you have at home.
It's
and they
not
might
the same.
wonder. I guess so. Or, you know what, like, okay, we get to the theater, and we get settled in our seats, and then you sneak off.
Ooh.
And come back,
and then I sit in the back row.
No, you just
eat it privately.
You're sitting quietly in a dark
and you
room.
quietly eating the crunchy crunch next to my kids.
I don't know.
Oh,
well, that's somebody else's problem. Here's a flower.
Beautiful. That's a good one.
Well, thanks everyone for watching. Come back next week for the next month flower. Love you. Bye.
Ba-dum-bum, ba-dum-bum. Bye.